names, which I usually prefer to go by. But Jimbo is something that my brother and sister both decided to call me a while back. For those of you who were not at the rehearsal dinner and missed my brother's famous Grover line, I already had it, obviously, and I had a prom. So I'd like to thank you all for coming from near and far. So, my older brother, well, what can I say about him without getting stuffed in the dumpster out back? Such a tough, manly guy who is loud. He plays electric guitar, has no indoor voice, has crazy hair, and an intimidating presence. What most of you don't know about Jeff is what a sensitive and caring person he is. When we were little, he was terrified, screaming and crying during Snow White, so we all had to leave the theater so he could compose himself. And when we finally returned to our seats, he sat in my mom's lap. And I confiscated his man card. Jeff got better with age and only cried a little during The Little Mermaid. As an 8th grader. Who knew that animated Disney movies were his kryptonite? During my freshman year of high school at Gonzaga, he always looked out for me, given my mom would have punished him if he had any part of getting me hazed in the senior lounge. Don't think that my brother never went against my mom. My brother encompassed his God-given right of eldest sibling by handing out our mother a strongly worded letter one night when she returned home late from back-to-school night. Here's an excerpt from the original, which is hard to decipher, not surprising considering who wrote it. Mom, I don't trust you to be out places for at least 2 hours. Jeff even made a diagram showing the 2 hours divided so my mom could learn how to tell time. He then gave her an ultimatum that she could only stay for half or 1/3 of the total 2 hours that she said she'd be gone. And it started with the first words the teacher spoke. Other key moments in my brother's life include figuring out what my dad does for a living.
I'm still working on that.
He saw my dad taking papers out of his briefcase and then putting them back in. My mom found my brother one day taking papers out of a box, putting them on the table, and then putting them back in the box, in imitation of our dad. And here we all have been thinking my dad was a spy. All my brother's life, he has been known for his hair. People always ask, is it real? Despite hating to get his own haircut since the barber always messed it up, see his high school yearbook photo for evidence, he decided to make sure I got a bad haircut by pulling a clump of my hair out. And yes, I still have the bald spot to this day. He also had me help him get Hillary bangs one day and bury evidence in the sandbox. Love you, Hillary. Jeff and I had to share a room when our house was being renovated. He hasn't changed all that much since then. He still lays claim to being the messiest Rahota kid ever. There was a reason behind his purchasing mining-style lights, so he can navigate around his own stuff. And who in our family can forget the great addition of Sebastian, or Mr. Dog to you? My bro likes to lay claim that Sebastian took his first nap on him. Given, today, that doesn't seem like that great of a feat, since Sebastian naps all the time. In regards to my fellow crew members, who are over at table 4, for the most part, we have my brother's friend since kindergarten, Patrick. Stand. My brother and him were like twins during grade school. Wherever one was, the other was destined to be nearby. Then we have Johnny. Brother from another mother, who has been part of the broken arm stories, both between the breaker and the innocent bystander, along with many other stories, which usually have alcohol as a main character. Patrick and Johnny, along with my brother, were thick as thieves in high school, and this continues to this day. And last but certainly not least, we have Wes. He is a little brother to Mollie, but only by age. He is also the proud owner of a Harley, as well as a tropic green Audi. Now, on to the newlyweds. Things that my brother and Mollie share in common. They are both great readers. Mollie reads many books a month. Jeff is busy finishing a book he has been reading for 3 months. He finally finished Goodnight Moon, which he has owned since 1990. They both like a lot of the same sports teams: the Washington Redskins, the Colorado Avalanche, and Washington Capitals. Teams that have earned a mutual respect as a result of their college affiliations are Navy, Penn State, and Maryland. They both excel at swimming. As a matter of fact, they first met at a swim meet. It was the beginning of a great backstroke rivalry, with Mollie taking the inaugural race. One of the biggest ways Jeff has changed since meeting Mollie is that he has expanded his music horizons. He now listens to country, like Brad Paisley, Kenny Chesney, and Taylor Swift. And Mollie now listens to Muse and Dream Theater, or at least she will as they share the apartment. That is all I have so far, but more will be put into my memoirs. Look for When St. Mollie Took Over. All this aside, Jeff has been the greatest older sibling. Sorry, Hillary. The day you forced me to play with Barbies did your #1 ranking. Don't worry though, you will always be my #1 older sister. And I'm sure that Jeff and Mollie will have a great wedded life together, especially as they use their combined swimmer mentality to support each other in the great relay race of life. Join me in a toast to the newlyweds. Life, love, and loot. And more seriously, to a life filled with more good than bad, more blue ribbons and sympathy claps, and more TOI, time on ice, than PIMs, penalty infraction minutes. To my older brother Jeff and newer sister Mollie, Muppet and Moo.